Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Oh, my goodness. Even though we knew it was coming, we all knew it was coming, and there's going to be more coming. It still gets your goat. It gets you uh, rattled, aggravated. But we're going to look at the big picture. The big picture, and it's no secret why they're doing it. And the very same day, the talk is going around about a $5 million bribe. In 2017, Joe got asked today, what about that bribe money? What are you going to say to people that are uncomfortable with this type of thing? He said, well, where's the money? Ha ha ha, just kidding. It's all malarkey. Well, we know where the money is. Privat Bank, Privat, Privat Bank. Let me see who's coming in. And we know a lot more than that. So we're not going to be as rattled as the average person because we are the news. We knew he was going to get indicted. We know why he's getting indicted. And it's mirroring, pure and simple. Let's see. How you doing, Joy? Tennessee. How are you? Ingrid. B-Dog. Damon. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Donna. How are you? Sharon. Marla brought 2 cups of coffee. Linda. Georgia. We got 2 Georgias on my mind. 40,000-foot view. That's right, George. Let's put that on the screen. 40,000-foot view. Tennessee said, I'm not worried, Mountain Man. Mr. T is God's warrior. You better believe it. He was chosen. It may look bad, but T will prevail. Not worried here. Me either. Me either. But, I was putting a live stream together to go on Rumble tonight. And I'll talk a little bit about that. I'll do that. If I don't do it tomorrow, maybe I'll do it. I don't know if Saturday's worth doing it or not, but we'll see. Yes, please hit the thumbs up while you're here thinking about it. The cat, how are you doing? Hello, Mr. Kibler. Yeah, I was going to do it live on Rumble. My theme, I had to delete it because I said, well, this stuff cropped up right when I was editing. My arm is stiff as a board. I've been holding one position, pecking and editing on an issue that I think is very important that shows you a symptom of a diseased society, and we've got to start giving it some medicine. I'll get into that, and I hope you all tune in when I decide to do that. I want to do an introductory video, and then while we're all gathered here on UTizzle, we're going to do a bumble jump. But tonight I can't do. I've got a dozen video clips I want to play, but they're all off topic for what's happening tonight. And I'm hoping that there are normies. Hopefully will tune in, even if they say, I hate Trump, and, I don't care. I want them to hear what we've got to say, because what we're saying is what? It's the truth. The truth of the matter is that a piece of paper was given to Congress, okay, with a lot of arm twisting. That revealed historical corruption and bribery. A fact. Criminal acts, high crimes, and misdemeanors that are specifically mentioned in the Constitution, not this hemming and hawing and dreaming up junk. So, let's see who else is coming in. So anyway, I'll go over some. I'm sure a lot of you have read what, how you doing, Gary? The deep state is lose their minds. Yeah, I want to play a video when I do go on Bumble, or I might do it on here, take a chance getting kicked off for a week. No, it'll be 2 weeks next time. Jiminy Crickets. I don't want to take a chance here, but anyway, where a guy's going through a drive-through, and a young guy, and he gets to the window, and the nice young lady says, the guy behind called and said, you're a Trump supporter. And the guy said, well, what's that supposed to mean? She said, I don't know. I guess I'm supposed to treat you differently. And there's this character behind him, and I think it was a Cadillac. And a young guy sticks his head out the window and says, Trump loves you, or something like that. And Trump's going to be back. You better believe it, or something like that. And the guy said, oh, when's he going to get back? When he gets out of jail? You know, this was a middle-aged guy. You know, since everybody's all jumping up and down about race, I'll say it, he was a white guy. What is it with these middle-aged white liberals from certain areas? They have got blinders on, and they are so focused on destroying Trump. And I've interacted with a few. Their sense of humor, the only time they smile, and it's not a pretty smile, the only time they laugh is when somebody says something terrible about Trump, or when they think about him getting arrested for anything. And it's nauseating. But I've got that clip. I'll play it. How you doing, Rubber Toe? Diane, how are you? Well, Diane, I'm not too worried about that profit business. I mean, you can read the tea leaves. Anybody that looking at real news can't see what the game is here. I don't need anybody telling me, looking in a teacup, tell me anything. Well, thank you. The cats. I thought there'd be a lot of people live. I thought it'd be a bunch of people. Hi, let's see. If I missed anybody, please forgive me, because chats go back while I'm talking. But we've got that attitude that we're dealing with, and unfortunately, some of it is our friends and family members, and it's getting tough. But never miss an opportunity to keep your mouth shut, because they're going to come to you. They're going to come to you, and you got to have real factual things that they can look at the news, because whether you know it or not, CNN, Washington Post, they're all putting out stuff they would have never put out. They're going to report, even if it's one article, on the Biden bribery. Suspicion is universal about the dam exploding. Suspicion is universal about the Nord Stream blowing up. Suspicion is universal as to why Biden has 1,850 boxes in Delaware. I don't know how many in Chinatown, where, like as Trump said, they don't even speak English. And he caught flack for even saying that, even though it's the truth. Hey, go to the outskirts of D.C. Or the suburbs of Virginia. Go to Vienna, or any of those, Alexandria, or any of those commercial districts. You can't even talk to anybody. You think you're at a bazaar in some exotic country somewhere. You can't make heads or tails of what any of them are saying, and they can't understand you. It's the true Tower of Babel in the areas immediately outside of DC. So, and hey, they're all warm bodies, and that's all they need to put in the hopper, right? That's all they need to put in the hopper and crank it out as a what? A VOTE. So anyway, let me see. I'm sure you all have been keeping up with Mr. T, but here's some of the things he was saying. Whoa, that's True Social. I don't want to get myself knocked off. I got to make sure I jump in and out properly so I can maintain my live stream. Otherwise, I'll be history. Yeah, I was going to show you all. There's a trend. And it all links into societal dysphoria. I said a number of broadcasts ago, your principles are like a plank in a stormy ocean. You have to pretend like what you've been taught, your belief in the Bible, your belief in God, your reliance on God, it's like if you're in a stormy, dark sea, there's nothing around, and you have that one plank, you hang on to it. Look how many people have gone into this dysphoric situations. More than one. And I was going to do a little special tonight on Rumble, which I can't do because it's just way too much setup. And so I wouldn't be able to go live till 10:30, something like that. If I was lucky, plus do this. There's no way I could do it. So what's happening with our younger generation? And I mean, even just 10 years younger than most of us in this chat. 10 years and back. Or less in age, the more the dysphoria increases, the more the loss of a grasp of reality, the more acceptable the unacceptable becomes to them. They don't think a thing of it. They don't have a plank. They're not moored, and they worship that plastic thing in their hand and everything that comes out of it. And it's going to lead to mental illness, as we've already seen. We found out on Instagram that has been a haven. Not like anybody didn't know that. Just like who's surprised Trump got indicted? I'm not surprised. I'm nauseous. But who's surprised that Instagram isn't full of a bunch of predators? I watched the other day a video about a police officer who was being interrogated. He had 20-some charges against him where he'd been messing around on Instagram. When Hillary Clinton was complaining about her emails, she said, I should have used Instagram because they thought they could just erase it. No one would ever find it. Well, the internet's forever on every single platform. Even when they go to that, what Antifa is using, Signal, thinking they were safe. Well, they're not safe there. They're not safe anywhere. And hey, if we didn't have a competent military, we wouldn't have made it this far. This is all to show the people that don't understand. So, President Trump yesterday, I thought something was cooking, and I'll tell you why. He didn't post for like 9 hours. And usually he puts up something, or he has a staff member put up something, congratulating somebody, thanking somebody, or poking Chris Christie in the eyeball, something like that. But he had a 9-hour gap where he didn't post. And last night he posted at about 15 minutes to midnight after everybody, I guess most of the people had gone la la land, gone nighty-night. He posted big news that they tried to bribe one of his lawyers. A member of the Department of Justice tried to bribe one of his attorneys. And he said, of course, the usual, that's corrupt, horrible, illegal act. And then about 15 minutes after that, if you go back in Trump's timeline, 15 minutes later after that, he said that they offered this attorney a judgeship if he could get his client to turn on Donald Trump. That's the same time all this talk was going around that Mark Meadows, it's being reported by the usual suspects, the same ones that put out there, the Russians put bounties on soldiers in Afghanistan, that kind of crap, was putting out that Mark Meadows has gotten an immunity deal to testify against Trump. So I was expecting to see some of that in the news today. Who's bribing who? Who was the DOJ official? That, again, a bribe is a high crime. So anyway, I thought something was cooking, but things seemed moderately quiet with Mr. T today, but he came out with page 1. The corrupt Biden administration has informed my attorneys that I have been indicted, seemingly over the boxes hoax, even though Joe Biden has 1,850 boxes at the University of Delaware, additional boxes in Chinatown, D.C., with even more boxes at the University of Pennsylvania. And that's where he committed that. No, Delaware was where he committed that assault, wasn't it? Or Pennsylvania. I think he was at the University of Pennsylvania. But anyway, and documents strewn all over his garage floor where he parked his Corvette, and which is secured by only a garage door that is paper thin, open much of the time. Tara Reid is who I'm talking about. And I'll get to her in a minute. Her having to flee to Moscow. These are things normal people need to hear. But anyway, page 2. I have been summoned to appear at the federal courthouse in Miami on Tuesday at 3 p.m. I never thought it possible that such a thing could happen to a former president of the United States who received far more votes than any other sitting president in history of our country and is currently leading by far all candidates, both Democrat and Republican. In polls of the 2024 presidential election, I am an innocent man. So he goes on to say, let me make sure I haven't lost my stream or anybody saying there's no sound. He goes on to say, page 3, this is indeed a capital letters dark day for the entire United States of America. We are a country with serious and rapid decline, but together we will make America great again. So the last post before I went live, he put a short video up, and above the video, he said in all capital letters, I am an innocent man. The Biden administration is totally corrupt. This is election interference and a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time. Make America great again. So I went to, some other creators, some other news sources to see what the initial reaction is. And, I can't stomach watching CNN, MSNBC, none of that. I can't stomach it. Just like I couldn't stomach some of the clips I was getting that I had to get to show you all. More proof of the decline in our society. We are our nation in decline, and it is spiritual. It is spiritual. People have lost what they never, some of them never even started with a mooring. They never were moored. Their parents weren't moored. There's always a chance, you can throw them a lifeline and get them moored. But that's where we're in. We're in generational unmooring from reality and from faith, a great falling away. So I can predict what those characters are going to say that I just discussed, MSNBC and all those creeps. I can predict it. And I can predict who in my life would be like a goldfish coming up to the surface with their mouth going, the flakes of garbage that MSNBC throws on the surface of the water. That's what they're like. They got the attention span of a goldfish, but we don't. We know it's up. Okay, we're more like a shark. And a lot of folks were saying, well, Elon Musk came out with a response. There's a guy on Twitter that just goes by capital ALX, and he I guess he's popular. I don't know, but he posted page 1 and 2 of what Trump put out and said, breaking Donald Trump to be indicted, summoned to appear in court on Tuesday. That's what this Alex said. And Elon Musk responded, there does seem to be a far higher interest in pursuing Trump compared to other people in politics. No kidding, Elon. But he went on to say, very important that the justice system rebut what appears to be differential enforcement, or they will lose public trust. Okay, so you've got Twitter coming off of huge social media victories, Tucker Carlson being one. Now, they fired 80% of the dead weight on Twitter, and it's working even better than we had 80% more people. So that is what happens when you have this false economy I discussed, where Twitter was created by the government. We all know that. This isn't conspiracy. LinkedIn, Meta, which used to be Facebook, of course, and that was before it became Facebook. It was known as LifeLog, and they were all created by DA. I'm on this platform where I spell, okay, RPA. Those 5 letters. You didn't catch it? DAR, and then the last 2 letters, PA. So they created it all. And who do they hire? Who do they push people to hire? Give them great salaries for being what? What I've said in the past. A demander and an expector. Expecting and demanding. I'm sorry. You raise generations of people who get up at the crack of lunch. They stay in the fart sack till after 11 o'clock. And they want a cookie when they wake up for waking up. As Ayn Rand said, for breathing. They want to get paid for breathing. You have a crowd like that, and you reinforce, you have exclusive rights to social media platforms that are protected by Congress with this, what is it, 252 or whatever it is, where they can operate supposedly to give them a chance to flourish, where they can have a monopoly on with the best technology, the best system. And this platform I'm on right now, I'm including, you go on any of those platforms that I mentioned, you try to watch a video on another platform like Bumble, there's no comparison. They use top tech guys, okay? They had unlimited money to create this platform on right now and the others that I mentioned. Competitors come in, they have to start from scratch. They got to hire IT guys. They got to do their own thing. They got to pay for it. And you have a product that is not as user friendly and would take tens of millions of dollars to get it up to snuff. Well, anyway, So you've got these total control of these social media platforms, and you make them hire diversity hires. You make them hire. You make them have programs where for diversity, inclusivity, and all this other garbage, and they're screened to push what? To push a narrative, a radical narrative. And I got taken off for using that word, RADICALE. And I was talking about Chunk Uger because he had mentioned that this is a paraphrase, he could relate to someone who wanted to have a relationship with a mule or a donkey. Okay? And that's what I was going to focus on in my live stream that I'm coming to do, because that kind of stuff is going around and it's being hidden. It's being hidden in cartoons and children's shows. Okay. And we talk about a mark of the beast, but it was called in the past a crime against nature. So children are being introduced to that, folks, by the thousands and thousands and thousands. Okay, those Disney movies and this anime, a lot of it concerning cartoon animals, some of them having S3 actual characteristics. Okay, so anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit more. Let's see who all's coming in. So, well, anyway, you hire these people. They have no skills in a normal competitive capitalist environment. Their dress, appearance, and behavior would be unacceptable. You wouldn't get hired by a normal job. But all these big tech companies I just mentioned could hire thousands of them. And they encouraged freakishness, okay? They encouraged counterculture. And they started at the top, because everything runs downhill, folks. And then the top hires their friends, their relatives, birds of a feather flock together. Before you know it, just like Twitter, you got 80% dead weight on a company that's supposed to be earning money, that was earning their money, getting kickbacks from the FIBA, FB, and then the last letters I. And don't you know, C.I.A. millions of dollars to march to their tune. So you can give all these, as far as I'm concerned, useless, slothful, lazy, delusional individuals big paychecks. They're young and they think that's the way the world turns. That's the way it's supposed to be. So they intensify their BS. Let's see. Hi, Rick. How are you doing? Carol, how are you? I'm way behind. Hi, Roy. Let's see. I hope I didn't. Yeah. Oh, they'll never let go of their arrogance. I mean, that is nosiness and arrogance is a hallmark of a communist. Nosy and arrogant. They can't mind their own damn business because they don't know how to take care of their own business. So they think they got to go mind others. That's right, Ronald. It's a sad day. And I was going to make one of the titles of my video, Nothing to be Proud About. Who knows when this Pride month started? Who knows what year the Pride Month started? You know, this is a well thought out subversive plan. Well thought out. And let's see. I'm way up here. Didn't they say they were going to sneak one in? Oh yeah. Who was somebody was doing a live stream. How are we going to deal with the Biden Obama administration? Are they going to? Hey, you hadn't heard a whole lot about Kamala, and that'd be the way to sneak one in. They give her some cushy job somewhere, Kamala, and let Michelle come in, and then oh my gosh, Joe had another aneurysm. Yeah, he's always 2 steps ahead, Gary. Yep, but you know it's got to be stressful. I mean, it's got to be stressful, but he's handled himself admirably, and history will show that. And you know, I was thinking about it, the more they grab at these straws, the more they distance themselves from being able to do anything to him. But I had some posts concerning that. Why, you know, if they did anything to him or his family, that they would be immediate comeuppance for certain people, no matter what. So, but this makes it even harder for them to consider doing that. Let me see. Rick, the WWG1 and all that stuff gets flagged, buddy. That stuff gets flagged. That is a 17th letter flagged. Oh, I see Nikki said, please don't use keywords. Yeah, if you end up getting timed out or your comment disappears, is because that's stuff that just goes right to the computer. So, whoa. Identify as an animator in the movie industry. That's what they want. Oh, the manifesto. That's what she was. And I just before I came on, I read an article or headline that let me pull that up real quick. Yeah, the Tranifesto. She was an animator before she did what she did, and it came out about 15 minutes before I went. Well, let me see what I don't have the timestamp on that, but breaking: parents of Nashville transshooter vow to give rights to manifesto to victims' families. They claim that since the police took the documents from their home, it is their property and they can assign them to whomever they want. So I don't know what those parents are going through. Plus, she's got a brother who had worked in New York. I don't know. He took all of social media down. You can only imagine. I mean, I've heard people in the chats. I've read chats where people have people they love in their family that are going down a scary and dangerous road. And can you imagine if it was your daughter and some horror like that happened? I can't, say anything. From what limited things I found out, that mother was totally against it, and that she pushed her mother away and did what she wanted to do, even though she was living at home. And oh, that sounds crazy. Well, no, it doesn't. To any newbies, we know it doesn't sound crazy because we know of this impersonator who was a trans that impersonated Anne Frank. And this was reported yesterday. This person lived at home, a grown man, right, that decided, they were, had a different identity, okay, and stabbed his father to death or her father to death, whatever. And this business of misgendering, is the way I'm going to look at it from now on. I'm not going to purposefully address somebody in a way that I know is going to cause conflict. I'll say, if I have to even talk to them, I'll say, excuse me, or something like that. Or hello there, can you put those 2x4s in the back of my truck, or whatever, if I'm at Lowe's or whatever. So, but nobody's going to make me blaspheme. I have the right, as our friend Oakman said, I have the right to perceive. And if I know I'm addressing someone, nobody is going to make me call them a female. Nobody's going to force me to do that. Nobody's going to force me to call them a female. And that's just the way it is. And I thought, well, they use the term transgender, right? True gender. A true gender. If there can be transgenders, I can use the word true gender. Now watch how quick that gets me in trouble. But I'll be using it on Bumble. Oh, okay. People are trying to guess the year. The year that Pride Month started. I heard this on a Fox News program today. "10 years, Nikki says. Diane says 2022. You guys aren't going to believe this. Hi, Bobcat. How are you doing? Saturday. Uh-oh. This week, Saturday, we have a Pride Parade. The next weekend is Comfest Smoking Weed Party in the park with Pride events. Oh, my gosh. Well, I need to get that verse where when you see people who are doing all the things that we know they're going to do, lovers of self, blasphemers, traitors, all those things are laid out in a verse, and it says to stay away from them. It doesn't say to attack, argue, anything. It says stay away from them. So that's going to be, if I have to interact, I'll say, excuse me, or hello there. Can you, or can I have change, or whatever I need? But nobody's going to make me not perceive what I have the right to perceive. Thank you, Karen said, hit the like button. Whoa, what happened? My chat disappeared. There it is. Diane says, Clinton started in 1999. That's interesting. And that Pride Month may be, but this speaker on Fox News said that the Pride, maybe he was talking about the Pride movement. And somebody also showed a photograph of a parade in the 1970s. But this person said It was started in 1969. Now, this isn't a federal holiday or anything. This isn't anything that had to go through Congress. And I was wondering the other day, who the hell said that this got to be Pride Month? Where's that come from? Like I said, well, why you could do just as well with the way they're handling it now to call it Hedonist Month or Moloch Month. But that's what they said, 1969. And, I could care less because it don't mean nothing to me. And they got nothing to be proud of. That's right, Gary. He's got a heck of a lot of security. Let's see what this guy said in that tweet. He's going to go Tuesday. Didn't I just read that tweet that Trump said he had to show up Wednesday? But anyway, whenever he's got to show up Miami, we'll see how much security he's got and how they treat him. If it even makes it to that date. I tell you, in my little fantasy mind, I would like to say that once they file the charges, that's evidence enough that's a crime committed. Boom. You got limousines pull up. They think the doors are going to open up, and Mr. T is going to get out. Big SUVs, black SUVs with the windows blocked out, and they open the door up, and a bunch of military officers come out with some armed guards and just tromp into the courthouse and start dragging them out. That's what I'd like to see. But we got to play it through. MS Motorsports, how are you? Cherryvale, Leather Rock, how are you doing? Camperman, how you doing? Red's in the house. And anybody I missed? I'm just reading the chat, see if anybody's tossing anything or anything popped up while I'm live. That's right, Barabbas. That's what I thought about, but I didn't want to compare this situation. But when I was talking about how they would just love for anything to happen to Trump, like a guy picking on a young man in that was a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through, they would be just like the crowd saying, "Give us Barabbas. His blood will be on our heads and the heads of our children." That's right, Nikki, 54 years ago. That's right, Karen. A lot of other things need to be getting months. If they wanted to give it a week or a day, what it was for gay people, there was situations where just because the person was effeminate, not even being public about it, not demanding to be married, not holding hands in the street, they weren't doing any of that stuff in the 60s, except maybe in San Francisco, or Soho or somewhere like that. But people would get accosted, and that was done in the 60s, more of to raise public awareness that, not to be doing that type of stuff. But now here's what we've gotten to. And the other issues I'm going to talk about in another live stream about where it's affecting our kids as far as these animals. I'm sorry, animals. Whoa, let me see. Yeah, Well, it needs to be reworked. It needs to be reworked. William Tiger, what did you say? Oh my word. Oh, Carol, you got to go around in a wheelchair. The lazy one gets the motorized scooter. I tell you, I wouldn't want to begrudge anybody who needed those carts in a Walmart that needed one. But boy, you go in there, you see some people riding those things like, yeah. But judge lest not ye be judged, right? So let me see what some of these other people had been saying. Yeah, I don't know why they hadn't outlawed Mardi Gras. That's nothing but a Fat Tuesday and all that stuff. They try to tie it into Easter. It's a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. But a lot of the talk going around is, you want to play this kind of game? You want to go after former presidents? You want to create a world that you think is going to rescue you, that you think is going to sully Trump to the point where he's not going to be nominated, or that you could actually luck out and get a conviction that would be upheld by a court to prevent him from being president. Well, good luck with that. That ain't happening. I can tell you that right now. And your desperation has set a precedent for going after former presidents. None of the major news organizations have got a problem with it. As a matter of fact, they're cheerleaders for it. None of them are bringing up the propriety of a local DA from any state, Georgia, Florida, New York, just any DA from any state can go after a former president. Well, let's see where that Privat bank money ended up, what state, and who's the prosecutor in that state. Yes, please don't use keywords, because they're watching us now. Yeah, they've always been active, Hilarious. They've always been active. We just gotta do like El Salvador and build mega prisons. I mean, there's no compromise with that. Let's see. Uh, yeah, let's see. We had another judge come out and reinforce this new right that we never knew existed. I can't find the article. I don't want to lose my signal on the live stream. I will keep scrolling through till I find it. But another judge, on top of the one I reported the other night, threw out laws or basically saying transgenderism is a thing. So that's going to have to be no. Unless somebody has a congenital issue Congenital means from birth. That's when William Sapphire started a big brouhaha when he called Hillary years ago a congenital liar. He did an op-ed. Now, let me tell you how far things have gone, how far they've collapsed as far as media behavior. William Sapphire wrote that article about Hillary Clinton, and I believe the issue then was the whitewater problems they were having. And Rose Law Firm. Everybody had forgotten about that stuff. And a lot of people weren't even, that are voting now, weren't even born then. But that's how far back their official corruption goes at a federal level. Never mind what they did when they were in Arkansas. But anyway, so he called her a congenital liar, and everybody got their drawers in a bundle about, you should not talk about first lady like that. And you look at what they call DJT right now. You look what they said about his son Barron. You look what they said about his wife Melania. But anyway, congenital means from birth. So William Sapphire did an op-ed that said she's a liar, like it's a birth defect. So anyway, something she couldn't help. Anyway, so if somebody's born with a chromosome issue, I'll put it that way. It's a genuine issue where you've got X and Y's, and there you go. There you go. Then you got an issue. The parents. You talk to parents. What do you want to do here? And which, by the way, is what I heard through grapevine. Is what happened to Carrie Fisher, okay? Debbie Reynolds' daughter, and the princess in Star Wars. So I met her ex-husband one time. But anyway, if you have a situation like it, but not this business of, hey, what reinforces what I'm saying about animals, okay? This business of giving a kid a litter box and let the kid meow. What kind of relationship with an animal do you think that the people that are pushing this child to act that way, what do you think they will say is appropriate for that child? If they're going to insist that you give her a litter box. That happened more than once. Kids go to school with dog collars, and not to look cool either, because they identify a certain way. So this, along with the climate change fraud, are two of many things that need to be criminalized. We as a society have the interest, a society as a whole, to prevent this stuff from getting around. Bestiality, and it's like my dad said, when they removed sodomy laws, Ruth Bader Ginsburg played a role in that. And I don't care what anybody says about her past writing. She did write a paper that I read. I read where they tried to justify what she was saying was theoretical and all this kind of nonsense. No, you read it. It says, she says that 12-year-olds, okay, 12-year-olds have certain rights, which I won't get into. And her backside should have been taken off the court then. Our Congress has impeachment power. She should have never been approved. So it's all been let go because of the uniparty, because of the corruption, because of the perversion. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. So these judges that allow uh, or claim, affirm that there is um, some rights to swap genders or to discuss these types of things with children, they need to be removed toot sweet. Until we start arresting judges and prosecutors, we're not going to get anywhere. And that's what it's going to get down to. And that's why the only way is, we all know what the only way is. So what's going to be the event that gets us to that point? We got to get to a precipice. We got to get to a scare event. We know we're puked out about what's happening now, but it is not a scare event for the majority of Americans. So what we don't know what the scare event's going to be. That's right, Red. They're not going to get him on. They just want him tangled up in court. Adam Schiff, yeah. Well, he's been funneling classified documents to Biden. That came out too. Williams says El Salvador's prisons are now empty. Well, that's the first I've heard of it. I heard they were going around tearing up the cartel graveyards. I don't know where that came from about El Salvador's jails being empty. They just filled them up. Nikki said she saw a 5-year-old with Root G on her T-shirt. Oh my God! You know what is it with these people? No, Red, you got it backwards. If anything happens to Trump, the odds of something happening to the baddies goes up 90%, 100%, 100% goes up. Falafel, how you doing? Hi, Cliff. Hi, Outlandish. How you doing? God's in control. Everything happens for a reason. The only way we can affect it is to keep our heads about us. That's why they played several times both Dan Scavino and Donald Trump Rudyard Kipling's if, okay? If you can keep your head about you on you when all the others around you are losing theirs. So we got to keep our heads on right, and we got to be able to communicate intelligently to others. That's our job. And beyond that, we cannot stop anything. We can't go down to Miami and raise hell. We can't call our congressman. We can't do nothing except those two things, which is to be an information dissemination operation. And we give out good information, not wild stuff. Well, Red, that's an awful negative. There's going to be top people. I'll have to pull those posts up. The baddies have got top people as was it occasional cortex tippy top people that they've been told it's lights out. I mean, that day, that within minutes, if anything happens to that man. They'd love to do they'd love to have done before he won in 2016. And Cash Patel put out a truth day before yesterday. It said huge week ahead. Huge, and he spelled it Yuge. So they knew this was coming. So let me see. Well, we'll have to see what happens over the weekend because this threw a bucket of cold water on all the junk that was pouring out about Biden. Everybody's here, Hunter. Okay. We're talking about Joe now. We're talking about the big guy. We're talking about the big guy now, not Hunter. So, bam, they hit with this thing. I mean, I don't think they even had enough time that they wanted to have to cobble it together. They were getting pressure from the Biden White House. And I have a clip where these two women are talking, and one of them says, the Biden administration has nothing to do with the DOJ, and the average American doesn't understand that. What a complete and total lie. I tell you what I might do is do a picture show tomorrow since I got all those videos, and I'll have to talk about that stuff with the kids, I'm sorry to say, and pets. I'll put it that way. And it's worse than a lot of people realize. One thing leads to another, to another, to another. And it's a real problem. There are clubs. Parents probably have no idea when they walk by. They look at the computer and they see cartoon furries and the anime type of animals, and they don't know what's really going on. So there's clubs, and they bring in minors. Okay, one person I'm gonna talk about specifically has a 14-year-old as a friend, if you know what I mean. And they discuss this stuff. They discuss this stuff I'm talking about on sites that any child can go on. Yeah, well, all right. We'll see if I see what you're saying, Nikki. I better do that kind of show on Bumble. Well, it's not just that one subject. I mean, it would take probably 15 minutes of my broadcast, but I've got other stuff I want to talk about and show. I got one video where a guy was picking on a vendor. A guy who had a cart was pushing his cart trying to sell something, ice cream or hot dogs or whatever. And this one guy came up to him and was pushing the end of the cart into his stomach and shoving it, trying to shove the cart around. And the guy walked away, and the other guy kept after him, acted like he wanted to fight for some reason. And this guy was so smooth. That's what I say, keep your cool, keep your head on a swivel. The guy threw a punch at him. He just dropped him like a bag of potatoes. So anyway, folks, my gosh, I've gone over an hour. Well, anyway, I'm trying to see if we've heard any other news because I can't go outside of my little screen too far without losing my signal. Uh, but I will mention something Diamond Silk put up was they said, should this plan include a ban on all gender reassignment surgeries? And the article is about legislature in Louisiana sends off bill to ban gender reassignment surgeries for minors to the governor's desk. So they're sending a bill to ban gender reassignment in Louisiana, and that's going to be jumping from state to state. But you've got these judges that are making their own laws and defying legislatures. And I tell you what, anybody in my mind, and I won't presume to think like Donald Trump, but I'm sure if he could, he would. Anybody talking with a child about their private parts or who they're going to interact with in a mature way is committing a crime. That's the place to start, okay? And the DeSantis push for the death penalty in Florida, that needs to be copycatted all across this country. And we need to enforce it, and we can't do it with these kind of judges. And that's what I said 3 months ago. We were in the phase of this operation to identify subversive elements in prosecutor's office and the judiciary. We've already gone through, for the most part, the legislative branch from the federal and state level where there were problems. We've already got there. Now we're at the prosecutorial and judicial stage. So we got to have them actually break the law and have the evidence. Like I've said before, military court, you don't go in there to try to get out of it on technicality. There is no such thing. They didn't read me my rights. They didn't do this. They didn't give me a search warrant. And so that all those pictures should get thrown out. No. Rough justice is close enough. If a reasonable person can say with a moral certainty that a crime was committed, somebody's paying a price. So that's the difference. So, okay, holy cow. I got a message here. Hold on. Camperman. Ha ha. Thank you, Camperman. Camperman chipped in to buy me a coffee. I appreciate it, buddy. I really do. I went this whole show and didn't say anything about my buy me a coffee. Thanks, folks. I really appreciate you all helping me out with that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do while I still got a bunch of y'all in here. What I'm going to do when I do one of these live streams here, I'll put a banner on the screen. It'll say something like jump to Bumble, link below, or something like that. And we'll carry on here till we get some people populated in here, and then I'll jump over to Bumble, where I got some good videos I know I can't show you. Thanks for the booms, Camperman. Anyway, I got videos, like I said, that Ice Cream Man or whatever it was, dead character. And I was going to explain, protect and defend means yourself and your loved ones. Don't go on the offense with these characters. I have a clip where these parents are being attacked, parents that are the Armenian parents in one school locale, another school locale, where parents are trying to show up and tell their school board to leave their children alone, and they get attacked by these masked Antifa people. You got to be able to defend yourself and don't get baited in to attacking them or even the appearance of it. We got to walk tall, okay? And we got to be able to take care of ourselves and protect ourselves. So I'll have those videos, and we'll just jump over to Bumble. But see, there are so many people live streaming on Friday nights. I just get lost in the tumble, Nobody pays attention. Unless I start here at 9, go to Bumble around 9:30. I mean, I don't know. How does that seem to you all? That's right. The falafel cops were going after the American parents. Armenian. You're okay, falafel. That's right. I had a book my father gave me that somebody said, "Can I borrow it? I promise I'll bring it back." And he never brought it back. It was American, it was classic literature, and it was short stories. And one of the stories, falafel, was 10,000 Armenians. And I asked that guy for that book back, and never saw it again. Never saw that book again. That's what I get. That book was published in the 1960s. It had a very interesting stories. That's right, falafel. America falls, the world falls. Gary, okay, I didn't get the notification yet, but I see the booms, Gary. There's a delay. A delay in the notifications. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a book from the 60s, but I can't remember the author's name, but some of the stories were from the 1800s and early 1900s. It has story in there like To Build a Fire by Jack London. You guys make a note of that. To Build a Fire by Jack London. That is a story every young person should read, because the character is very haughty. And you know how young people are. They're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, right? So have them read Jack London, To Build a Fire. That's right, Gary. Hitting the like button to support me. I appreciate it so much. Thank you all. And I tell you, I've gone over. I may be doing that tomorrow with Bumble, folks. And if you went over there to Bumble and hit the follow button, that's great. And if you haven't, it's Mountain Man Speaks, all one word. And I'll make sure I got the link in the description. I've got a bunch of videos I made copies of today, and hopefully they won't disintegrate my phone, but we'll try to have a good program tomorrow. I'll do a preview on here, maybe go up a little early, like 8:45 or something, 8:45, and go around till 9:15, because everybody's got to go to bed. I know that, but there's a lot of people live streaming tomorrow night, and I just get lost in the shuffle. But hey, what's not to like here, right? What's not to like? Let's all stick together. Like Mr. T said in one of his speeches, hang in there. Hang in there. He said that in a quote. And then he played, when he leaves, hold on, I'm coming. Okay? We're showing the world how dirty they are. And there's a country saying for what they're doing right now. I won't use the real language, but it's called showing your backside. They're showing their backsides. All right, folks, you all have a great night. And thanks for spending your precious time with me. Thank you for helping me on Buy Me a Coffee. And I'll be talking to you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.